If you have ever loved someone and constantly felt the need to prove your worth, here is the bitter truth you must face. For a narcissist, love does not exist, only utility does. You are not a soulmate. You are a source of supply, a resource with a predetermined expiration date based on your ability to satisfy their addiction to control. The more you offer love, compassion, and forgiveness, the more they see you as a mine of energy for relentless exploitation. But everything has a limit. A day will come when you are depleted, and instead of pleading, you choose silence. The moment you stop chasing, when your stream of energy disconnects from them, the seemingly solid world of the narcissist begins to crack. They do not fear losing you. They fear losing the power to control your emotions. They thrive on the chase, and when the prey stops running, the mask of arrogance crumbles, revealing an empty, trembling soul. So, what truly happens behind that cold facade? Today, we will delve into their 4 secret psychological reactions, from confusion and rage to desperate attempts to pull you back. This is the key to reclaiming your freedom. Join me until the end of this video to understand the true nature of their game and how you can win without speaking a single word. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on deep psychological analyses that help you reclaim sovereignty over your life. Secret psychological reaction 1. Confusion. The first secret psychological reaction, confusion, in the narcissist is not anger or regret. It's a state of utter confusion and disorientation. Understand this harsh reality. In their world, genuine love is non-existent. It's merely an invisible contract of power exchange. They have never truly seen you. They only ever saw the function you provided: admiration, energy, emotion, or submission. In other words, you are not a person. You are solely a narcissistic supply meant to sustain their false self. For a long time, the narcissist has lived entirely through the reflection of others. Their sense of self is a fragile construct built from the gaze of those around them. They only know they exist when someone is still reacting to them, when they are loved, feared, or even hated. But when you withdraw that energy, when you sink into complete silence, they lose that reflective mirror. This instantly causes their psychological system to begin cracking. They simply cannot comprehend what is happening. They were accustomed to you always being there, ready to respond, ready to forgive, ready to take the blame in exchange for peace. Your sudden silence creates a terrifying, massive void, like an actor stepping onto a stage without an audience. All of their core beliefs that they could never be abandoned, that you would always return, begin to crumble. The narcissist does not know how to face stillness. In silence, there is no one left to reflect their image of "I am special, I am powerful, I am loved." This is their primal fear, the fear of being unseen. Deep down, they are the abandoned child who built their entire life upon a silent vow. I will never let anyone make me feel that small again. So they created an arrogant false self to cover the emptiness. But when you go silent, that wall cracks, and the echo they tried to bury begins to resonate. You are not enough. You are nobody. This confusion throws them into conflict. One part wants to maintain the image of the victor, while the other panics because you are not reacting like previous victims. Your silence has caused their ego to begin dissolving, forcing them to face themselves without a mirror. That is the cruelest moment. It strikes straight into their psychological core, the fear of being forgotten. They never loved you, they loved your reaction. And when you stop reacting, their entire system of control collapses like a shattered house of mirrors. Secret psychological reaction 2, anger. The second Secret psychological reaction. Anger erupts after the confusion phase passes. The initial disorientation was merely a prelude. When your silence ceases to be temporary and becomes an undeniable reality, the narcissist shifts into a state of narcissistic rage. Like a king forgotten by his subjects, they feel deeply insulted at the level of the ego. For them, anger is not just an emotion. It is a survival mechanism to avoid the festering wound of feeling weak and inadequate within. They cannot stand the feeling of being small, so they will do whatever it takes to restore their imagined power. This rage rarely explodes openly, but often burns quietly in the dark. You may not see it, but they are already plotting to distort the narrative. They will retell the story in a twisted version, where you are the betrayer, the cold one, the reason they lost faith in love. They rebuild a world where they are still the victim, because only as the victim can they retain moral control. They desperately crave an audience to validate their righteousness. Meanwhile, your silence, once seen as weakness, becomes the mirror that hurts them the most. Deep down, they know the truth. You have seen through them. And for a narcissist, being seen is far worse than being rejected, because once you see their true nature, the power game ends. No enchantment can make you believe in their illusion again. That is why they are angry. Not because you left, but because you no longer believe. Your belief was the foundation of their existence, and when it collapses, they are left empty. Their anger manifests in many forms: venomous words behind your back, twisted stories, subtle insinuations aimed at ruining your credibility. They destroy to preserve the illusion of influence. Sometimes the rage turns inward, causing them to torture themselves with thoughts. How dare she, divided by he? I should have been perfect. That suppressed emotion grows into hatred, not only toward you, but toward the world that proved they are not as powerful as they believed. The irony is that in their rage, they expose the very weakness they try to hide. Every insult, every sarcastic gesture is a hidden plea. Please react so I can feel I still exist. They need your anger to recharge, your defense to feel powerful again, and if you maintain silence, that fire will consume them from within. The most merciful and healing act at this point is to remain calm. Your silence is no longer a retreat, it is absolute sovereignty. You are walking off their emotional stage. When they can no longer provoke you, the anger runs out of fuel, paving the way for the next phase: regret. Secret psychological reaction. 3. Regret. The third secret psychological reaction, regret, emerges after the rage and desperate attempts to regain control have failed. However, do not let the word deceive you. They do not regret you. They regret the function you once served in their power ecosystem. What hurts them is not the loss of a genuine bond, but the power vacuum your departure leaves behind. To the narcissist, you once soothed their deepest fear of being forgotten. As long as you reacted, whether through crying, anger, or forgiveness, you were acknowledging their existence and influence. Now, it is all gone. No reactions, no signals, forcing them to face the truth they always denied. They are no longer needed. In the early days of this phase, you might notice an odd softening. No more mockery or attacks, but instead short messages that seem sincere. I've been thinking, I understand my mistakes, I truly miss you. Be aware, there is no soul in those words. It is a tactic, a test, bait. They are not seeking repair. They want to see if you still react, if you still belong to their stage, or have truly stepped off. If you reply, even a single line, they will latch onto it as proof that they still matter. If you maintain silence, their regret swells morphing into a blend of craving and pain. They start missing you not as a person but as that energy source. They miss the way you reacted, the way you worried, the way you tried to fix things. This is not love. It's withdrawal from an addiction. Their ego depends on the image of you as weak, dependent, and forever returning. When that image collapses, they lose their self-definition. Their regret is not tied to real feeling, but to the loss of a role. They will deploy every tool, tears, apologies, and seemingly gentle words to rebuild the stage. I was wrong. I've changed. No one loves you like I do. They say exactly what you ache to hear, but remember, their words lack depth and self-awareness. They apologize without taking responsibility. They cry, but the tears are there to soften you, not to transform them. A narcissist does not regret hurting you. They regret losing the privilege to hurt you. A narcissist's regret does not lead to change. It leads to strategy. When they say, I miss you, what they really mean is, I miss the feeling of your attention. If you see through this and stand still in silence, you are cutting the final cord, declaring full sovereignty over your energy. Secret psychological reaction 4. They try to pull you back. The fourth secret psychological reaction, they try to pull you back, is the phase where they shift from emotional manipulation to a deliberate strategic attack. If apologies, fake tears, and regret fail to move you, the narcissist mobilizes every weapon in their psychological arsenal to drag you back into the old cycle. This is no longer an unconscious reaction. It is a calculated campaign, staged like a play where you are expected to reprise your former role. They open with their oldest trick, love-bombing sweet messages, the exact words you once longed to hear, artfully rekindled romantic memories. They repaint the image of the hero from the beginning, as if the cruelty never happened. They do this not because they miss you, but because they miss the power they once held. If you appear skeptical, they quickly switch roles. From the charmer, they become the pitiable victim. I don't understand why you left. I was only trying my best. I'm in therapy, but I need you to help me heal. They play the pity card, a weapon extremely effective on compassionate souls like yours. They exploit your empathy to keep you hooked. But if you remain silent, they turn cold and move to punishment. They vanish suddenly, then parade their new supply across social media. Photos, cryptic posts that sound like, finally found someone who truly understands me. Don't be fooled. They are not happy. They are performing for an audience of one. You. Every action is a calculated attempt to provoke you, to make you feel hurt, jealous, or angry. In your emotions, they feel powerful again. If you still don't react, they escalate further with reality distortion and smear campaigns, spreading twisted stories in your shared social circles. They must believe you are the villain, so they can continue to play the good person who was wronged. During this stage, the pressure is immense. They only need a crack, one weak reply, one cold reaction, and they are back in. The cruel truth is this: they don't care if you are happy or miserable. They only care if you react. Love or hate, as long as you are thinking of them, they win. That is why your silence is unbearable to them. This is the most dangerous stage. When emotional manipulation fails, they resort to logic. We are both adults now, let's talk rationally. If you agree to meet, they will try to reignite the old chemistry. The familiar tone, the practiced gaze, the gentle touch that once disarmed you. They apologize not to make amends, but to test if your heart still bends. But if you stay grounded, if you look at them with the calm eyes of someone who truly understands, everything inside them begins to collapse. They realize the tricks, roles, and manipulations that once made the world orbit around them are useless before an awakened person. I have no power left. That is their purest despair. The only way to win this game is not to play. After all the emotional storms and the failed attempts at manipulation, you will realize a liberating truth. The narcissist was never the center of this story. They were merely a distorted mirror, reflecting the part of you that once forgot its own self-worth. The real tragedy was not that they left, but that you stayed too long in the game of proving yourself, fearing abandonment and craving love even under false conditions. But the moment you stop running, stop explaining, and stop chasing validation, the game ends. Not because you won against them, but because you no longer need to win. Your silence becomes the loudest declaration of awakening, affirming, I understand now. I don't need you to know my value. In that stillness, the energy once drained from you begins to flow back through every cell, every memory, every wound. You feel alive again, not in grand displays, but in quiet peace. When you stop reacting, when you step back and watch the entire drama with the eyes of an observer, you have exited the labyrinth. From that vantage point, you see clearly. Narcissists are not the victors. They are souls forever trapped in the prison of their own ego, living in eternal hunger. They call it love, but it is possession. They seek power, but what they are truly chasing is a hiding place for their fear of being forgotten. You, the one who walked through their darkness, are the one who has truly awakened. You left behind not just a relationship, but an energetic pattern where love meant sacrifice and kindness was used for control. You realize that no one has the right to define your worth, and your silence is not an escape, but the act of a matured person. The empath's victory is not in making the narcissist regret, but in reaching the point where they no longer influence your energy. If one day they return, smile, and quietly walk away, no hatred, no contempt, only the calm knowing that the lesson is complete. Because your soul now belongs to you, no longer supply, no longer object, but the author of your own life. That is the quiet yet greatest victory of all.